What's up, guys? It's been about a month since my last two videos, so it's been about a month worth of work, worth of progress. When I started, I was 232 pounds. Right now, I'm 221. My goal for this month was 223. Now, this isn't exactly a month from the day I posted the video. It's been about a month and a week. But I want to give you guys an update, kind of how my weight loss has been going. Eventually, I'm going to post some pictures of my progress and then of the scale, so y'all can see I'm telling y'all the truth. But yeah, I just want to give you an update on my health and then everything else going on in my life. One of the things I'm struggling with right now is my job. It's not really because of the pay or anything. My dad worked here. He was one of our supervisors, and I would work a lot with him. And he left. I'm loyal to my dad, so when he kind of left, and he left on good terms, so it's not nothing bad. He left, and that kind of makes me want to leave, but you know, I've been struggling because I don't know if that's what God wants. Now, is that what I want? Yeah. You know what I mean? But I can't do what I used to do in the past. I can't act as a child, because what I want to do is just to say, you know, some days I feel like I'm a little more agitated, really for no reason. And I think some days, a lot of days, I'm just looking for a reason to leave. You know, anything to set me off, just so I can say, you know, F this, F that, and take off. You know, that's what I've done before in my other jobs, and I never really cared. I was like, I can always get another job, you know. And I saw that mentality, like, I can always get another job, but I don't want to just up and leave, and I don't want to do it on bad terms and burn bridges. You know, I want to do it the right way. So, you know, that's what I kind of been struggling with. I'm a pusher. Basically, I'm a lead for a Rustabout company. So that means it's me and my two guys, and we go out and do jobs. I do a lot of remediation work, so I do a lot of dirt work. When oil spills on the ground, I basically go out there, I dig it to whatever depth they want me to dig it out from, and then we just basically put fresh dirt, new dirt over it. Yeah, but one of my guys left, and I think my other guy's about to leave too, so I had an opportunity to go to the solar panels, and it pays about the same. You know, I told my friend, because my friend's the one who said he can get me in there, that I would take it, but I ended up backing out. Reason being is because, you know, I'm sitting there asking God, like, is this what you want me to do, Lord? You know, whatever answer I get, I'm going to assume is from you. I'm going to take it as that's what you want me to do. Because in my head, I'm thinking it's good because my brother was going to go with me over there too. You know, I'm like, yeah, I can go be with my brother. I can work on my brother. We can push each other. He's a little younger than I am. He's my middle brother. So, yeah, I mean, that's how I thought of it. You know, I'll be with my friends, this and that. But, you know, I'm asking God, is this what you want me to do? Is this what I'm going to do? And I'm thinking about it. And that same day I turned it down, that I backed out of it. You know, a few things that I realized. If I go, it's going to be built off of lies. Why do I say that? Because my friend was going to say that I have experience in solar panels, and so does my brother. And that's a lie. You know, it might not be a big lie, anything like that, but it's a lie. Another thing is, you know, I used to smoke. I don't anymore. I'm clean. My brother still does here and there. So he wasn't going to be clean. So he was going to have to fake a drug test or you know, it was iffy. But he's probably going to have to fake it to go to the solar panels. That's a lie too. And you know, the more I thought about it, I'm like, God, if it's from God, it'll just happen. If it's from God, it's not gonna be built on lies. If it's from God, you don't need a lie or anything like that, you know, for it to happen. So, you know, and then another thing, like, yes, I'm talking about a different job, me wanting a different job, and that's what it seems on the outside. Oh, I can go to the solar panel job, I can be with my brother, we can do this, we can do that, but you know, my friends told me that they're smoking over there. They got a hotel room they're all sharing, but they're smoking in the room. And part of me got excited about that. oh, I'll be my friend, like, you know, whatever, maybe I can smoke again, maybe this and that, but I've turned away from that. I don't want to go back to that, and honestly, that's just my past trying to bring me back, bro. I know if I go, I could tell myself, oh, I'll just say no, I just won't do it, or I'll help them out, or they can do it, and I just kind of watch. I can tell myself all these things, but I know deep down, I'm going to end up doing it. My friends are doing it, especially my brother. My brother does it, I'm going to do it with my brother, and I'm just going to go down for hill from there, you know. I'm going to get lazy, I'm not going to be focused on my goals like I am right now. I'm just going to start from square one again. I'm going to backtrack, and I'm going to start from square one again. I've already done it so many times, you know, that I know better. But, you know, I still struggle with these temptations. So the devil wants me to think, oh, it's good, you can get another job, it's easier in your body, you'll be with your brother doing all this and that. But in reality, you know, that's on the outside, but in reality, it's just getting me to fall back into smoking. It's getting me to fall back into my past ways, my old ways, and, you know, my kid ways. The way I was thinking back then was like a boy. You know, I've matured more, and I was matured back then, more mature than people around my age, but, you know, I would still just up and leave jobs. I'd get rageful, emotional, things like that, and that's the kid version of me. That's the boy version of me. You know, and I'm trying to outgrow that. I'm trying to move past that. So that's why I haven't left the Triple R job. My oil field job, the company's called Triple R. That's why I haven't left, you know, because I'm waiting on God, what God wants me to do. Because my dad told me, you know, God's not going to stop you. So if I want to go to the solar panels, God's not going to stop me. You know, if I'm dead set on doing it, if I'm that stubborn about doing it, God's not going to stop me. He's not. You know, that doesn't mean there's going to be consequences, though. Like, God's going to let you do what you want to do. You know, He's going to have the Holy Spirit try to correct you and things like that, and try to help you have discernment. But at the end of the day, if you choose to go, He's not going to stop you. And what happens, you know, happens. And luckily I have the discernment, and luckily, you know, my dad's taught me, and I know a little bit of God's word, you know, and I'm saved by Jesus, so I know that's not going to come from Him. God didn't build His ministry on lies, so I knew that job wasn't coming from God. It was just a trap from the devil trying to pull me back. And something that's been helping me this past month and a half, even when I started making the videos, so I want to say maybe 2 months ago, somewhere around there, is just calling on Jesus. Me saying, God, I can't do this. You know, I'm feeling these temptations, whether it's lust, sexual immorality, whether it's my emotions, wanting to leave, wanting to do this, wanting to do that, whatever it may be. Me going back to my past ways, smoking, me wanting, just thinking like a boy again, like a fool. You know, I call on God and I tell Him, God, I can't do this, Lord. I've already tried. I've done this before and over again. I've tried to do it myself, and it does not work. I cannot physically do this myself. Only You can, Lord. So I give this to You. I give this temptation is not my temptation. This is Your temptation. You deal with this. I can't do it, but You can. You have full control over me, over everybody. I heard the story. Y'all might have heard of it. You know, there's this boy. He had this big old house, right? And he gave God the biggest room. He's like, oh, God, here, I gave You the biggest room. Well, the devil came. He heard knocking the door, and it was the devil. The devil punched him in the face, right? He fell. Like, oh, how could this happen? You know, God's living in my house. How could this happen? You know, maybe I did something wrong. So he goes to God, hey, God, I'm going to give You this entire top floor. Same thing happens. Devil knocks, punches in the face. Oh, I must be doing something wrong. Well, eventually, he gives the whole house to the Lord. He said, Lord, You have the whole house. So and you know, usually whoever opens the door is the owner of the house. So this time when the devil went knocking, who opened the door? Jesus. When the devil scurried away. And so that representation is basically, you're the house. You know, the devil's going to come and knock you over and do all these things until you give your whole body, your whole mind, your whole soul to Jesus. Not just a part of it. Not just, God, help me with this. Like, you can't do it. You need Jesus to help you. Jesus is the one that does it. You know what I mean? He's the guide. He's the one that leads you in the right direction. You can't do it without Him. You can try and it might work, but without Jesus, you're going to wither away. Right? You're like a branch that's separated from the tree. You're going to wither. You might stay alive for a little bit, but you're going to wither. So that's some of the things I've been struggling with. Another thing I've thought about, like, my dad left, and that's what made me automatically want to leave the job. Now, is the job horrible? No. Is it great? No. You know, it's a good job. It's a good job to get your foot in the door. It's decent money. I mean, if I work all week, I got like $1,500. I get $1,500 a week. That's not bad. That's really good, you know. and I have my routine. So me going to other jobs, like logically too, it doesn't make sense unless it's around the same area, same money, same pay. But that's where I got to think: is this what God even wants me to do, or is it just me? And I'm pretty sure it's just me. So, but yes, my dad left. That made me want to leave. But just because one chapter closes for somebody doesn't mean that chapter closes for you, right? Just because God closed that chapter in my dad's life doesn't mean I'm done with the chapter. You know what I mean? God's giving you different things to go through. So this last year, it was really getting right with my finances. It was really getting right with my health, like getting in the right mindset. I started getting into this right mindset, this, bettering myself mindset since I was 16, 17 years old, right? My parents were going through divorce, this whole thing. I can get more into detail about it. It won't be in this video. I will eventually, so y'all know more about me. You kind of know where I've come from, what I've been through, so y'all can relate to it. You know what I mean? I'm just like y'all. I'm not even close to perfect. But since then, and last year, I really, took it up a notch. And this year, I think God's trying to teach me, patience. And I think God's also trying to teach me, not to go back to my old ways. And part of me thinks He's allowing the devil to set these traps to also see what I'm going to do. If I'm going to trust my faith and trust in Him and run back to Him, you know what I mean? Because before Jesus was crucified, He told Peter and them, He said that the devil asked me permission. Satan has asked me permission to sift y'all like wheat, and I'm praying for y'all. So the devil wants to test. Even with Job, you tell God, He only praises you because He has everything. God said, okay, you can take away everything, but don't touch Him. And He took away everything. He still praised God. He still ran to God. He said, God, He's only praising you because He's in good health, because He's this, because He's that. And Job went to God every time. He fell back on God. That's what we need to do. That's what I'm trying to do. It's been helping. That doesn't mean it's perfect. That doesn't mean I haven't messed up. But these urges, these temptations, they go away when I call on Jesus. It may not be right away, but I can feel it being diluted. I can feel it leaving me. I can feel me not wanting to do it anymore. You know what I mean? Even the thought of me, like the part of me is like, oh, the boy me that wants to go do it. And then you got the godly me is like, no, bro, like leave it alone. And I'm really starting to feel that now and more. And I'm grateful for that, and I thank God for that. I really do. So, if you're all feeling those things, I suggest and I recommend highly that y'all do. Y'all call on God, y'all pray to God. It doesn't have to be the fancy. It doesn't have to be the fancy church words. You just be straight up. You know what I mean? Sometimes I tell God, why don't you speak to me? Why don't you do this? Like, you're my father. Like, my father here talks to me when I talk back. I mean, you just be honest, bro. Everybody's got different emotions, different feelings about it, and you just got to come straight with God. I mean, He's gonna know if you're lying or not. And He'd rather you come straight with Him and just be straight up. So that's some of the things I'm struggling with job-wise. Some of the things I did learn regarding my weight loss. I've been watching Renaissance Periodization with Dr. Mike. Obviously I'm on a cut right now. This following month, I plan to be around, I want to say like 215 maybe 218, something around there. I'm not entirely positive. I just use ChatGPT for the stuff. I mean, you know what I mean? But I've learned, on a cut, you need to, in order to maintain your muscle, you really need to do higher volumes. You really need to focus, like your maintenance to keep your muscle gets bumped up because you're on a cut, right? So that's number one. I'm learning more about that stuff, so I'm redoing my workouts. And to be honest with y'all, I haven't really worked out this past month. Like, every day after work, I've been walking. I have. So I think that's been really helping. But I don't want to just do walking because not work out, because I'm gonna lose muscle and kind of get a skinny, fat, flat look, and I don't want that. If I'm cutting down, I want to cut down and look lean and get lean. So I learned that. So I'm trying to work it right now. I'm gonna rework it, and then I want to do the mornings. Honestly, I'm struggling to wake up in the mornings, but part of me is just still that boy mentality, just not wanting to do it. And I know I can do it, and I make the excuses. I just do it in the afternoon. I just do it this and that. I never do, and I know I have to do it in the morning. That's the best way for me, the only way for me that's gonna work right now. And it's just a matter of me wanting to do it or not. So I need to get on that. I'm gonna get on that. But this is also just to show y'all, like, I'm gonna hit my goals. I told you I'm gonna hit my goals. It's gonna happen. So this is just kind of a documentation just for me and for y'all, you know, to show that y'all don't have to be perfect, and y'all can see what's going on behind the scenes, behind my mind, in my mind. You can see what I've been learning, what I've been going through, how I've been dealing with it, how I've been solving it, and how I still, even though I had all these things, still got to my goals, still made them happen. Now I know there's people out there in a more severe situation or problems, but it's always possible. Like, you got to take it one step at a time, right? One bite at a time. If you haven't read a book, it's called Eat That Frog. It's basically what it's about. It's a really good book. The narration kind of a little boring, makes it a little boring, but it is a really good book. But you got to take it one step at a time, one bite at a time. So if you're in a bad situation, you know, you can't chase two rabbits and expect to catch one, right? You can't go chase one rabbit and the other rabbit and expect to have one. You need to chase one rabbit. Meaning, if you have all these problems, all these severe complications, maybe you don't have a job, maybe you don't have this, maybe you don't have that, or maybe you're missing a limb. I have no idea. You know, you need to address those issues first, the issues that are stopping you from doing the other things. So if you don't have a job, go look for a job first, right? Go do this, go do that. Obviously, you want to get your health right, but it's hard to do that when you're broke. It's hard to do that when you're thinking about struggling. It's hard to do that when you're in survival mode. So you need to get to the point where you're not in survival mode. You know, you need to get to the point where you can automate some of these decisions. That's when, for health-wise, that's where meal prepping comes in, because you need to track your calories. The more you get serious about this, the more you want to get lean, the leaner you want to get, the more serious you need to get. So you need to track calories. And an easy way to not track calories is just to plan it out. I use ChatGPT. I tell the things I like, the meals I like. In the mornings, I literally eat pancake tacos. I eat a pancake, a protein pancake. It's got 2 eggs, a Jimmy Dean sausage, and some sugar-free maple syrup, just like 2 tablespoons. Put that on there. That's my breakfast. For lunch, I eat chicken Alfredo pasta. It's just some grilled chicken breast, some pasta, and some Alfredo sauce that I throw on top. And then for my dinner, ground beef, beans, white rice. I put the exact thing I use, I put in ChatGPT. It breaks it down. I say I need to be within these calories, within these macros, and it breaks it down, and I meal prep it. That's the easiest way. I'm tracking my calories, and I know they're already tracked. I know they're already good. It creates less. It's just automatic. You don't think, what should I eat, what should I not eat, because then that's how you fall into temptation, and that's how you fall into overeating. If you already have your meal set for the whole week, you'll be good. And I say the whole week because I used to do it Monday through Saturday, and then on Sundays I'll go eat Subway, I'll go eat this. And another thing I learned, it's kind of common sense, but it hits when you hear it. Like, if you're in a calorie deficit, say 100 calorie deficit, right? So for 6 days, that's a 600 calorie deficit total, because 100 each day. Well, if you eat 600 extra calories above your maintenance on that 7th day, it basically erases your deficit from before, erases your progress. Now, is that going to change you on the scale? You might not go up and gain weight. You might stay the same, but it doesn't. You stay in the same spot. No one wants to stay in the same spot. Everybody wants to get to their goal as fast as possible. You know what I mean? So why would you want to hinder your progress? Why would you want to just stay where you're at? So that's another thing I learned. But the less decisions, the more automatic you can make it, the better. Like, if you can have a savings, so you know if something pops up, you want stuff so it doesn't ruin your momentum. You don't want to let yourself ruin your momentum, and you don't want to let the outside world ruin your momentum. You know, it's not if something goes wrong, it's when something goes wrong. So you need to prepare. Preparation is the most important part with anything, with finances, with health, with your mind, everything. You have to prepare for the day. You have to prepare for the week. You have to prepare for the next year. You know, I had my goals for the year. I broke them down, how I was going to do them, and I'm getting them done. And I'm going to hit my goals. Watch me. I had $10,000, then I spent it with my emergency fund. I shouldn't have. It is what it is. I'm learning still. I'm not perfect. My goals, and this is to reiterate this, at the end of the year, I will be 190 pounds, guaranteed. If not 180, I will be 190 to 180 pounds. At the end of the year, I will go. It was a Maldives trip. I changed it to Cancun. I'm gonna go to Cancun. I'm gonna propose to my girlfriend. That's another goal. I'm gonna have that ring. I'm gonna have that trip. It's gonna be paid off. I'm not gonna have to owe anything. I'm gonna have zero debt by the end of this year. My third goal is to have $10,000 in my bank account, and I don't even have to worry about it. I'm going to hit all 3 of those goals. Watch me. I have 4 or 5 months left in the year to get those goals done, and I'm going to get them done. I'm going to hit every single one, and you're going to see. So, but I want to record this as a documentary for y'all and for me, I want to give y'all an update. I'm gonna actually create my YouTube channel today. I've been slacking on that. You know, I haven't been perfect. I've been good probably 80-90% of the time on sticking my stuff, and it's still working. So imagine if I was 100%, right? Imagine if you're 100%. Imagine if you went that extra level. Imagine if you went from just eating good to now tracking your calories. From tracking your calories to now meal prepping. You know what I mean? From meal prepping to working out in the mornings or in the afternoons or whatever you do, whatever it is. Imagine just taking that next step up and how much further you would get, how much further along. You're gonna have to do it at some point. The more serious you want to get about this, you're gonna have to do it at some point. You can't just eat good, not track calories, and expect to get skinny. Are you gonna drop weight? Yeah. Are you gonna do this? Are you gonna do that? Yeah, of course. But in order to get to the next level you want, you need to bump it up. So, but anyway, just want to give y'all an update on my mind, how my mind's running, the decisions I've been making this month. You know, how things have been going. The next update I give y'all, I'll for sure have a picture of my weight. I'll put pictures of my body from the first month up to the current month and things like that. But I just want to give you an update, and I'll see you on the next video. Later, guys.